Konbanwa, minasan. Welcome to the Tachi Yomi podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Shinji, and this is my co-host, Benjamin Takeshi.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, and our new guest, Dominique, or what should we call you, Domo?
Yes, call me Domo.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks so much for hopping on our podcast. We're really excited to have you here.
I'm really excited to be here, Shinji-kun.
So I think today's podcast is about One Punch Man. So Benjamin, do you remember when was the first time you watched One Punch Man or read it? Did you read it or watch it?
I read it. Like, you bought One Punch Man and you said, like, this is a really interesting comic. I've never read this kind of comic before. And you already bought, like, the first 3 volumes, and you're like, this is really cool, and then you should read it too. So, like, I started reading it, and I was like, man, this is so new, a new style of manga. So I was really surprised, and I enjoyed it a lot.
So Domo, what do you think makes this manga or anime different from more traditional other versions of manga or anime?
I really liked One Punch Man, mainly because it took a different route in the approach to this really strong hero. A hero that can defeat any enemy in one punch. You know, it sounds boring. At first, I didn't want to watch it myself, but I also had friends that told me it was pretty interesting. So I gave it a shot. But he's not, just some cocky protagonist going around just defeating everyone in one punch. He can defeat everyone in one punch, but he doesn't like that. He doesn't like the idea of him having all this overwhelming strength. He wants to find someone who can challenge him. And this point here is what, I guess, separates it from all the other battles shown out there.
It's interesting.
In my opinion.
Yeah, it's interesting because it seems like it's taken all the like stereotypes from other manga and anime and like either reversed it or like playing on it in an interesting way.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's basically a parody, as a lot of people put it.
Exactly.
It's just a big parody. I like that though.
Yeah. So Benjamin, tell us what is the story? What is the plot of One Punch Man?
Well, it's basically one punch. So he defeats, like Domo explained, he defeats all of his... He has a potential of defeating all of his enemies with just one punch. And that kind of causes a dilemma within him. Like, he wanted to be the strongest man on Earth, yet, like, once he achieved that, he felt, like, very empty inside. But he still wanted to be a hero, so... he's trying to fight against these villains or monsters, yet like he's too strong, so it's very, I would say, boring, but something like that for him. So
how did he get so strong?
Well, he actually took this secret drink, and no, it's not like that. What makes it so funny is that he only did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and then a 10-kilometer run every day.
For like 3 years or something like that.
Yeah. And, he ate banana for breakfast, and then, he was like, even in the summer, he wouldn't put air conditioning on and all that, so...
That's the secret to strength, is having no air conditioning?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he said.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Question, would it be worth it for you guys? Because he gains all those powers, but you go bald at the same time. Would you be willing to do it if you were going to lose your hair and gain all that power? Or would you rather have a full head of hair, but be a normal person?
I'd be bald. I wouldn't mind being bald. I know a few bald people, out here doing big things and looking sexy while doing it. So, if I got all the power in the world, and all it costs is my hair on my head. If I can keep my mustache, I'll be good. I feel like I'll be good. Keep my beard, hair on my head gone, no problem.
So as long as you have your beard and mustache?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. See, I'm a little afraid, like, it would be really cool if you got that strong, but I feel like maybe, like, One Punch Man, you'd kind of lose the will to do anything because there's no challenge in life anymore. Which is, like, a really, like, arrogant thing to say. I would probably secretly deep down really want that power. Don't get me wrong, but...
yeah. I feel you.
Yeah.
Well, I would say to defeat anyone in one punch is worth anything. I wouldn't care if I, got bald. If I, whatever the cost, I would want it.
Hey, that's a hot take. You're saying anything.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. What if you had to live for eternity with all that strength?
Oh, if I would only live for a day, and if I could get that power, I wouldn't mind, man.
Ooh. All right. That's a hot take. Okay. So we all know Saitama is very obviously the most strongest character in the anime. There's no question about it. Who do you think would take second place?
Well, in my opinion, as it stands, if you look at the hero rank, if I remember this correctly, you have number 1 in the S class was your girl Tatsumaki. And then right after,
she's second.
She's second?
Yeah.
I thought King was second.
No, I think
King was number 2, wasn't he?
No, so I'm looking at the ranking right now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Benjamin.
So
take it away,
there's this dude named Blast that we haven't seen yet, but he's ranked number 1.
That's right. He's the mysterious number 1 that's never shown up yet.
And then second is Tatsumaki, and she is psychic power. And then third is Bang, and he's a martial arts master. And then the fourth is Atomic Samurai. Yeah, and he's really good with his sword, of course. And then there's a Child Emperor. He's fifth. He's like super smart. He's only like a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah. I remember all the other ones. I just forgot about Blast. Damn, I thought Tatsumaki was number 1. Well, at any rate, even so, I would probably still say that out of the people that we know, we've seen fight, Tatsumaki would probably be number 2. Obviously, because she's number 2 in the ranking. But we've seen her, in action. Around the end of the anime where she was throwing shit around with her mind, and it was pretty lit. Obviously, she couldn't hold my man Saitama though.
Yeah. In that sense, maybe she was the closest to Saitama in the sense that she was destroying everything with no sweat, whatever. Like there was no problem, whatever. Yeah.
No problem with it.
Yeah.
Bang. He's old now, so was he number 3 or number 4?
I think he's number 3. I wonder how strong he was when he was younger. He must have been crazy.
Right? Now, if you're talking about young Bang, he probably hold his own.
Yeah.
Saitama, but he's losing against time.
Yeah.
That's something we all can't win against. But yeah, Tatsumaki is my I guess input, my vote. How about you, Ben?
I like Bang personally, so I would have to go for Bang. I mean, it's kind of biased there, but like, I mean, I feel like Tatsumaki does have a weakness. It's just she hasn't shown it, and like she hasn't fought against someone that's stronger than her. But like, I feel like if she, in the sense, if she loses her like ability, then she's pretty much worthless. She's only like super short, she can't do anything, weak and all that without her super psychic power. So, but in contrast, I feel like Bang is like, kind of OP next to Saitama. Let me actually take that back. I think Boros is the second strongest next to Saitama.
Oh, true. Boros is like super. He's like the only. He's the only one who was not killed with one punch, basically.
Yeah. And like, if Saitama wasn't there, like all the S ranks would be wrecked so bad.
Probably.
I feel like every single one of them would have died.
Yeah, I think Tatsumaki would have been. Tatsumaki would have been probably able to give him a good run for his money, but yeah, sure. I forgot about that guy.
I didn't think about the villain who actually gave Saitama, made him get serious. He threw one serious punch. And he took all of that. So
Yeah.
Obviously, he lost in the end, but he gave Saitama a run for his money.
Yeah. I think secretly one of my favorite characters is probably King. Just because of the fact, like, he's the exact opposite of Saitama. He's probably, like, the weakest guy out there, but he's somehow able to bluff his way through everything. And all of it. Yeah, no, it is, right?
Yeah, I've been reading the manga myself, and because the anime hasn't really covered King as much, and in the manga it explains how he became rank 3 SS class. It was all because of Saitama. Saitama defeated the monster and left, and who was there? King. He was just there. It reminds me of Mr. Satan, kind of going off topic, but Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball, Hercule Satan. He's trash. Mm-hmm. He's trash, but everyone loves this man. He knows how to put on a facade, and that's just when I see King, I think of Hercule. It's just kind of like a what do you want to call that? What do you want to call it?
Comparison? I don't know.
Yeah, what's within soul in English?
It reminds you of him? Yeah.
It's like when I think of him, my mind automatically goes to him, like type thing. Yeah.
I know he's not the strongest, but I still love who he is.
You like King or Hercule?
Well, both. But I like King for this
Hercule.
manga. Yeah.
Okay. King's I like King though. Yeah, King.
Yeah.
He's a video game master. Saitama, that's the one thing Saitama can't beat him at is in video games.
Yeah. So, of all the villains we've had so far, who do you think was the best villain? And I'm not saying the strongest, the best villain.
I feel like the Crablante was actually the best villain.
Oh.
Because he kind of was the inspiration for Saitama to become a hero. If he wasn't there, like, Saitama wouldn't have saved the kid. He wouldn't have, started his training. He wouldn't have done anything. So, like, even though he was a stupid villain, like, he did kind of, not in a sense inspire, but, like, he was the cause, I would say, for, like, Saitama to start, training and all that, so.
Yeah.
Didn't that kid, like, use the markers and, like, write... What was it? Right, he wrote something on the tits of the crab man, right, or something like that, in like marker that doesn't come off.
Permanent marker, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And that's the whole reason the crab guy became a villain. Yeah. Sorry. So Domo, what were you saying?
In the actual anime, the mole people that came and attacked the Earth. Mm-hmm. In his dream. Those guys were awesome. Like, he was doing all types of flips and tricks. But, then he woke up from his dream. Yeah. And, it got him excited. He was like, oh, okay. He looks outside and sees the mole people there. And they were really nothing. I don't remember exactly what happened. But, he got excited and then he was like, nothing.
I know, right?
I wouldn't say they're the best villain. I don't know. Best villain. I have to say I like out of personal interest. I should have a tab open for this villains. Do you guys remember the guy who was? What was it? He was locked up under that underground facility, and Saitama went to defeat.
The Ashura Kabuto.
Oh, the Carnage Kabuto. Yeah. Or what is it?
Villain from
something Kabuto. Yeah.
The Ashura Kabuto.
Ashura Kabuto.
Yeah. I personally like the Ashura Kabuto.
Yeah.
Just like the reason behind why he was created is what I like.
To be the ultimate human being or something like that?
Yeah, the scientist, his idea of being, perfect, or, the ultimate, like a specimen, ultimate, organism, thing. I just like that. I just like the idea behind it, even though it kind of went off the rails. And Saitama defeated him in one punch. I still liked it.
It's crazy. The ultimate being had nothing to do with a human. It was like a bug.
Right? Yeah. Right. So
is this what we're gonna evolve to next? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
We're gonna grow wings and fly. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Joseph?
Sure.
That's difficult. I think I liked. Wasn't there that villain that in one of the first episodes? There's that guy there was those twins, like the one muscular brother and the one really smart brother.
The Fukigawa and Marugori.
Yeah, exactly. And he like gives the medicine to his older brother, and the older brother is like a hulking giant. And Saitama shows up, and Saitama's like, "Yo, what's up?" And the older brother, the scientist dude, is like, "Hey, kill that guy on his shoulder." And the bro like and swats him, but like doesn't swat Saitama. He swats his older brother. And just looking at his hand, there's just like blood everywhere, and it was just so bad. Like, I know he's not the strongest in any way, but like that scene made me laugh. It's those like unintentional moments where like there's just this humor. It was amazing.
Yeah, like that reminds me like another like one of the villains I liked is like Sonic. Like he's really strong, but he's kind of dumb in the same time. So it's really funny when he's facing Saitama and he's like, "Oh, I'm the strongest," but like he's a really interesting villain that has potential, I would say.
In that sense, he's the only villain that has not been destroyed by one punch. In fact, remember he got punched in the balls. Well, it wasn't. It was. Yes, exactly. And even by Saitama, you could see in slow mo as it's going in, and yet he survives that. So I mean, low key, maybe he is the strongest villain out there. Hey, like if you take a punch to the nuts, I don't care who you are, like especially from Saitama, and you're able to walk away after that, man.
You got some gut. You got some balls of steel.
There you go. Yeah. So what would you say is the most memorable scene from Saitama? Like, there were a lot of good scenes. Some of them were like awesome. Some of them were...
My favorite scene was, Domo kind of mentioned it, when like the underground moles came out, and like it was a really cool fighting scene, and then Saitama was like, "I can't lose. I will protect the earth," and all that. That was like, I thought that was a really cool scene, where he was like, it kind of showed like his, even though like he's kind of depressed because no one could defeat him and all that, it kind of still showed his like he still wants to protect the people, like no matter, like people don't always like see him as a hero, but like he still has that kind of hero idea that like he wants to protect the people and he wants to fight for the people. So I really like that scene. That was memorable for me.
It's interesting. He's gotten so strong, but he's not really selfish about his power. He still like wants to fight for humanity's like good. Or wasn't there that moment where he was fighting against like the Deep Sea King or something like that, and he defeats the Deep Sea King?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. That's my actually favorite moment. When all the monsters come in, start attacking the city, and all the heroes get dispersed. And it's, there's no backup anywhere. Saitama shows up. It's raining. Everyone's been defeated. Even Genos, he was like broken somewhere, and like, he's like, all right, I have to defend the people. Shows up, boom, hits it, clears out all the rain, and it's like, and the people were like, oh my god, he defeated it in one punch. But then he was like, no. They wore it down for me. I just came in to take the glory. And I was like, you bitch. We see what you see. We see what you doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, Saitama, no. And Genos, he was like, you want to do this? You really want to do this, Sensei? He's like, yes, it's okay. Don't worry about it. This is the route that I want to take. I was like, no, you don't. You don't want to take this.
He's the man of the people.
This is the route of the unsung hero.
I know, every time, like, all the humans hate him. Like, he destroyed that meteor, and he saved humanity, and everyone's giving him shit. because he didn't defeat all the like extra, meteorites or rocks, and it did like destroy like some parts of the city, and everyone's giving him crap for it. And he's like, he's such a man too. He doesn't like try to make an excuse or anything. He's like, so what? Yeah, I'm the one who destroyed the boulder. If you want to complain or argue, come at me. I'm here. Ah, man. Man, it's not that Dark Knight thing where it's not the hero we deserve, man. Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
I think one of my favorite scenes too is when Genos is fighting against Saitama, and Genos is trying so hard, and Saitama's totally playing around with him, but Genos is finally, he gets so fed up, he's like, oh, take me seriously, and then Saitama goes to punches him, and there's like a death, and destroys everything in the background. I know.
Stops right in his face. The wind goes.
Yeah.
That was a good scene.
I know.
Just thinking about it. Ooh.
I think low key Genos. I don't think I've seen Genos ever win. I think the whole point of Genos existing is to show how powerful One Punch Man is, because Genos gets defeated by the Mosquito Girl. He gets defeated by the Kabuto. He gets defeated by the Deep Sea King. I mean, almost every villain that One Punch Man has fought against up until now, like, Genos has also been defeated. Yeah.
Right. I never noticed that. Yeah, that makes it. And Genos is also S class, so it just goes to show you he's well above S class, level. He can't defeat him, but he just. That's literally what he did with the mosquito.
Yeah. I low-key have sympathy for Genos though. He's trying so hard. Go ahead, Benjamin.
Sure. No, I was just saying that every time Genos fights against these villains, they're like, I feel like they tend to be stronger than what they're ranked as, how dangerous they are. And also Genos is S rank, but he's still S rank. He's strong within the S rank, but it's just the villains are so much stronger, and Saitama is way above the S rank league. So it's just they're at a different power level totally. So it makes sense. But
I mean, the whole ranking thing is a bunch of dipshit. I mean, the fact that Saitama starts in the bottom of C rank too.
That just proves it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He literally broke all the records in the physical training, the physical test, and he dropped the ball on the written test, but he can't fault, man. He literally jumped through the roof of your building,
Yeah.
He see this man's strength. Put this man at least A class, B class, something, not C class, where they gotta reach quotas every week.
Yeah. Was it doing one good deed a week or something like that?
Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. He couldn't find any good deeds.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Okay, so next question. If you could have any one superpower, whose power would you want? And I'm taking off Saitama because he's overpowered.
That makes sense.
I would probably Atomic Samurai's ability to cut almost anything. That was pretty cool. I thought it was really cool. He hasn't been showcased that much at this point, but he's really cool. I really like him as a character. I think he's cool, and just kind of swords are really cool. So I think his ability to cut almost anything is really awesome.
Of all the different powers that are out there, it's probably the most achievable one too. I'm not sure if you can get psychic powers, but hey, if you trained enough in swords, maybe you could reach that level.
Just throwing that out.
Yeah. If I don't even know if you want to consider this to be a superpower, because he trained his whole life to get this good. But Bang he's a martial arts extraordinaire. I would if I wanted anyone's power, I would want his. So I'm gonna put power in quotation marks. It's just him. It's just his physical strength and his years of honing his art.
He's one of those few characters who knows how strong Saitama is.
Yeah,
and takes him seriously too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was there when he dropped when the meteor dropped down. Yeah. So he's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
watch.
Yeah, and I remember like the whole first half of the season or the manga, Saitama was like, "Oh, I'm just a hero for fun," and then he eventually became like a professional hero. But yeah,
I like it. I love it, man.
I know. So none of you guys want to have pretty prisoners power.
I don't even know if you call that power to, kind of...
Or what about, like, Tank Top Master? You see, I don't even know what Tank Top Master's power is. Is it wearing a tank top? Or, like, lifting weights?
So.
I think that is.
I think it is, like... yeah, not far off. the Tank Top Brothers, I think it was what
was it like Tank Top Tiger and Tank Top Brother?
I don't know.
Tank Top Black Hole.
That's right.
And he just wears a black tank top. That's the whole point. But
I know. It's amazing. And the Tank Top Tiger, he's got like tiger stripes and his hair is dyed that way too. Yeah. It's amazing.
What would be your favorite or like superpower that you would like?
That's a difficult question. I think, well, I was saying before, King would be really interesting because he can talk his way out of anything. Like, I don't know if that's a superpower, but heck, if I could do that, like, I would have gotten out of so much trouble and all, like, all the things I've done in the past. I mean, hey, I haven't done a lot of bad things. I'm just throwing that out. I'm just saying that, but still, man.
Like, persuasion's a superpower, like.
It is, man. It's interesting, like, a lot of these guys, their superpowers, or I don't know if it's even a superpower. It's really weird.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing, yeah. It's
kind of hard to call it a superpower, to be honest.
A lot of these characters are just, just strong, and that's how they got to their rank, that they just use their strength to rise up through the ranks, and they don't really they may have like a gimmick or something, like the Tank Top Brothers, but, it's, nothing that actually distinguishes them from the rest, I guess.
Yeah. If you had to fight against someone or one of the heroes, then I guess it's kind of connected to this. Who would you want to fight against? See, I secretly think, well, because I'm a chicken, I want to fight against Mumen Raida because he's just riding around a bicycle, basically. But he's also one of the few guys who knows like Saitama and is like really friendly with him. But I feel like he would also be like a good friend too, which is kind of weird. I guess you wouldn't want to be fighting against a friend in the first place. But I feel like he's a good bro. I'd want to get to know him better. Like, I'd want him as my friend. I don't know how many characters in One Punch Man you can say that about. But, like, he's one of those few guys. You're like, you know what? He's not a douchebag. He's, like, really kind and considerate. He
fights for the people, too. All that.
He does.
I would like to, if I would like to fight anyone, I'd like to fight my man King.
Okay.
Like me, because only because he reminds me of Hercule, and I hate Hercule, and because I hate Hercule, I kind of almost hate King, and I want to expose him for the fraud that he is.
Dang.
So, it's nothing against King. It's purely because of it's in my head. It's all in my head. I know it up here, but in my heart, I have to expose this man. So he's going down.
I feel you.
He's going down. I'm gonna use my newfound powers, from Bang, Bang Sensei even taught me everything he knows. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm going in.
No, my favorite hero, King. No, I'm just kidding. But
I would like to fight against Sonic because, well, you said a hero.
I know.
A hero, right?
Well, he go ahead, fight against Sonic, man.
Well, like, Sonic is kind of... I feel like he's totally a big meme. He's a meme, totally. So
Yeah.
And, like, I think it would be interesting to fight against someone that's, like, super fast. He's, like... Mm-hmm. He's, like, the Flash Sonic or whatever. Like, he's, like... significantly faster than anyone else. Not as fast as Saitama, of course, but, like, his trademark is, like, his speed. And I don't know, I feel like fighting against someone that's really fast would be, like, he might whoop my ass, but still...
I think he's like he's like the perfect example of a tsundere character because he pretends to like fight against you and really dislikes you, but in deep down in his heart, he loves you, and he just like can't get enough of you. So he keeps coming back. He keeps coming back. You know, he's like, oh, I really want him. And in his mind, he's rationalizing it like, oh, I want to fight against Saitama, but I think he secretly likes Saitama a little bit. No? I think he would be a good tsundere character. So actually, yeah. It would be interesting. Like, if you had to go out on a date with one of these characters, who would you choose? Who do you think would be the most interesting person if you had to go out for a cup of coffee or go somewhere, do something with? Who do you think would be the most interesting person?
Hey, I would go with Genos. How he takes care of Saitama, he would be awesome, man.
I know, right? He would be the perfect partner.
I would go for Tatsumaki. She's a huge tsundere, and you know,
yeah, sure.
I like them when they play hard to get.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But you know what? If Genos is a close second. You know, like I want somebody to look at me like Genos looks at Saitama.
Exactly.
That's what I want in my life.
Genos is amazing. Like, I think I had Genos too, because he's around Saitama. He's always taking notes. He's like giving him tea, serving him, and like, it's amazing. Genos would be like the perfect husband or wife. I don't know. Like, Genos has the most awesome personality. I think that's kind of what makes you want to root for him, even though like he doesn't always win very often. But I think that's what makes him popular. I think that's what I really like about him too. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what do you think are like some key themes that are running through the manga? What do you think makes this manga a little bit different than others?
Well, in terms of key themes, I would like to say one of the key themes in this anime or the manga is just in general one word: selflessness. You know, at least for our main character Saitama, everyone who is a hero or acting as a pro hero, they're doing it because they want to save people. But there's also the underlying reason they want to rise up through the ranks and get promoted. I think as you get higher in the rank, you also receive more money. I don't know if that's a correlation or thing that happens. I think so. But he doesn't care about that. He doesn't really care what rank he is. He would have been fine being a C rank,
Yeah.
But I think he's B rank now. Forgot how that happened. But
I think it was after he destroyed the meteorite. Maybe he became B rank with that. Yeah.
He does. He saves the people out of the kindness of his heart.
Yeah.
Not of self-interest, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess at first it was kind of self-interest. Shumi de yateru. He was really like, so he was doing it because he wanted to. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like remember when Saitama was trying to like bring her into her group. He was like, no, I don't care about those ranking. I don't care about like joining this group to rise up to the ranks. I'm only doing this for like the good of other people. And he like replied to her with that, and I thought that just like Domo said, that was really awesome. Yeah,
I feel like Saitama has a lot of people. I feel like in Japan they used to be like really super hardworking and really doing hard, but I think a lot of people have gotten not lethargic. Lethargic's not the word. They've gotten tired. It's the mendokusai mentality. I think that's something that I feel like the anime and the manga captures really well. Is that a lot of people are really feeling like, oh, it's so bothersome or tiresome to do something, whether it's like go to work or like go do grocery shopping or do dishes, whatever it is. I feel like there's this mentality where like, oh, it's so tiresome. Why do I have to do this? But these people, they still do it anyway, but there's this like kind of attitude of like, oh, it's so mendokusai. And I feel like that's almost a low key, not theme. I wouldn't say it's a theme, but you kind of see it like running through in the underground on the bottom of the anime and the manga.
Yeah.
So, next question. Do you think these heroes in particular, are good or bad for society? Because I think this is a pretty hot topic. Are they doing good? Are they doing good for society, or are they causing more trouble?
I mean, I think they're honestly piece of shits. They're like just destroying everything. I'm like, most of them are like, oh, we're so good and like all that. It's just honestly like they're like, I feel like they're trying to like justify whatever they do. They're like, oh, we're doing this for the good of the people. You know, we're doing all that. Oh, you know, like we want, like Domo said, like we want, you know, to increase our ranking. You know, we want to get better. We want to get paid more. We want more fame. We want more glory. You know, this hero, like there's this, you know, like people view these heroes as, you know, heroes of course because they're, you know, they save the people and all that, but I feel like they're most of the time they're doing more bad, and like the people like are kind of like glorifying them and worshiping them, and like I don't think that's necessarily correct. Or
I feel like a lot of the heroes are also being heroes for their own personal reasons. Like Tatsumaki, I mean, I know Domo, you like her. But, like, when she's using her tornado powers or, like, psychic powers, she doesn't really care much for the people around her, I feel like. Or Metal Knight, too. Like, when the meteor came, he flew in and he shot his missiles, and as soon as he figured his missiles didn't work, he just flew off, and he was like...
How you doing?
None of these guys really care. I know. Well, not none, but a lot of these characters, I feel like, don't care. Well, it's not like they don't care. Yeah, okay, yeah, they don't care.
So I guess it really depends on what your definition of good and bad are, at least in terms of heroes. In my opinion, yeah, they're protecting the city. They're protecting the city. You know, they're protecting people's lives, but as my you know cohort Benjamin said, you know, they're doing a shitty job at it. They need to get the shit together. You know, Tatsumaki throwing people around with a tornado. You know, Saitama, he with one punch destroyed an entire city, really. Like in the episode where he fought the two brothers, he like jumped up and punched the guy in his face, and he fell on the entire city. On all the buildings. Like he just,
I know, right?
He didn't care. He didn't care. And at that time, I guess he wasn't a professional hero, so I guess it's not like he would care. But I don't know. I take those things into account.
See, okay, I'll play the devil's advocate though.
Uh-huh.
Like, as I agree, these heroes are doing a shitty job, but if it's their job of like protecting human lives, then I think they're doing a good job. Like, in that sense, like, in the most important thing when it comes down to it, or at least Saitama, or like they're like Bang, or these good heroes, when it comes down to it, like, they might not save your house, but they will save your life, I feel like. And at the end of the day, am I going to be grateful for the life that I was saved, or I'm going to get pissed at him for the house he destroyed? I think part of it too is I would be pissed that my house was destroyed, but I should be grateful that he saved my life, I feel like.
Right.
So,
no.
I guess it's a matter of like what you really, well, I don't know. What do you think, Benjamin?
No, I totally agree with you on that point, but when they fought with the Deep Sea King, you know, the heroes were like, all of them, no one could stand a chance against them, and if Saitama wasn't there, all those people would have been dead. So, like, in that sense, the heroes did a terrible job. Like, they couldn't have done worse. And, like, I understand the idea that, like, you know, what matters more, you know, your house. Again, it's not just in One Punch Man, but what matters more, your possessions or your actual life. And then probably most people would say your actual life, but it's just, they are paid to protect your life, not your possessions. And they fail that most, you know, baseline, you know, fundamental thing about being a hero is protecting the life, being strong enough training to be able to protect people's lives. And, you know, all of them just, you know, you remember those 3 heroes or 4 heroes that were inside the shelter, you know, they ran and hid with the people and they still got beaten. So I'm like, yo, that's, man, come on. But,
and low key too, to be honest, like, to going back on my point, if you survive a monster attack, but your house is destroyed and you've lost everything, like, what quality of life are you gonna have after that? You're gonna be living on the streets. You're gonna be homeless, like, literally homeless. Right. Maybe you want to die instead. I don't know. It's a good question.
That point, yeah, right. And then that point, obviously, this is a fictional story or anything. The city need to get their act together and create some I don't know. I don't want to say refugee. They're not refugees. Like shelters for those who do lose everyone's losing their homes almost every episode. So they need to do something about it. They need to fix some stuff. They ain't gonna have no food. I don't know about the job thing. I don't know how they're gonna do that. They need to find somewhere for them to stay. If they did that, then it wouldn't matter at that point. Save their lives. And then keep the damage to a minimal. And put that in the job description. Then boom, we got it.
There you go. True. Low key, I think the real heroes of this manga are probably like the construction companies and the architects who are rebuilding these houses every time it gets destroyed.
Right.
Every single time they're like building those houses. I bet they're thinking like, oh, this house is probably not going to last 2 weeks, but hey, here I am doing my job. I'm building this house.
making my living.
And they're amazing too, because every episode the houses are back there. They must be amazing architects and construction builders. Like, I don't know, man. I think they're low-key the true heroes of this anime and manga.
They deserve the most pay.
Yeah, that's true. So, next question is, do you think the manga or anime is better? Or maybe we could debate about what things like each version does better. So I've read the manga, I've watched some of the anime, I actually haven't finished it, so I probably shouldn't be giving my opinion on this, but I'm gonna give it anyway. I've always liked the manga, I've always liked mangas better than anime is my usual answer, because I think the mangas provide more story, more character development. In a way, an anime often doesn't have the same length to really build that character or develop that character or person as much as like a full manga can. And it makes sense because they can't take everything and make it into an anime. They have to take the best parts. So it makes sense that some characters are just not going to be up to par compared to other characters. But I do have to admit, after watching the One Punch Man's anime, man, those damn fight scenes though was amazing. Amazing.
I don't know if I should really give my opinion on it either, because I've watched all of the anime and then I picked up right there from where the anime ended and started reading the manga. So I don't even really know how it happened at the beginning. In my opinion, I would definitely say the manga is better. I would like just from that like from what I've read of the manga makes me want to go back and read the first half, or I guess that I didn't read, that encompasses the anime, chapters 1 to 36, I think is what it is, and see what they did different. Because I haven't really read them, I don't know what they've done different, so I can't really compare. Yeah. But I can definitely say I would probably like the manga more. I do love those action scenes though, especially that one where what was it? I think who mentioned it? I think it was Ben. Who was talking about when I think it was you, Joseph, who was talking about when Genos was fighting Saitama, and he's like, "Get serious, Sensei." He's like, "All right, I got you." Throws that punch, and you just whoa. Now I'm pretty sure you can try to express that in manga, and probably be just as almost as awesome. But I don't know, the anime, just looking at it and watching it,
or that fight scene with Boros too. Like that last fight scene, like that was pretty epic. I haven't seen a fight scene that's like quite as good as that one too.
I would say that it depends on the manga or like the comic. And for this case, I would say like One Punch Man is actually better for like the anime, because like it's more for like the, I mean, I know it's like most of it's revolving around the battle scenes and all that. So I would say that like it's like it's mostly Saitama fighting other people, or it's like it's based on the idea that like Saitama is strong, like who can beat him, and then everyone gradually gets stronger around him. So it's like, I think, I mean, there is character development, but like it's more for the fight. I don't know. It's just
that's a good point. In a sense, these characters don't need to be developed.
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So
especially the villains. any of the villains, it doesn't care like how much you like them. They're not gonna last much longer than an episode or a few chapters. Maybe I was like placing too much emphasis on character development.
Yeah, like
in a way, go ahead.
Yeah, like you said, this manga isn't like, oh, we're gonna dive deep into the like what this character is thinking, and he's dealing with depression and all. It's not like that. It's like Saitama is just gonna punch this dude, and he's gonna beat them. That's what everyone wants to see.
He's going through.
Yeah. So it's just
in that sense, it is one of the perfect mangas to make into an anime.
Yeah.
And I guess we all agree that the animation or the team or whoever did the anime, like they did an awesome job of turning it into anime. Like they could have really messed it up, but they did a really good job with this too.
And unfortunately, the second season's coming out next year in April, I believe. But they changed the studio that's animating the show, so there's a potential.
I didn't know this.
There's a potential, that it won't be as great as it was as its predecessor. Man. So, just
because the one who is doing the current one, they're really famous and they're really good at doing. Yeah.
So,
oh man,
just be on the lookout, man.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be the same.
And what's interesting? I forgot to mention, like in the beginning of the podcast, One Punch Man, like it originally started out as a webcomic, I think, and the artist was just like, writing. I went back and read some of the original webcomics, and they were really funny. But man, his drawing is so shitty compared to like what real manga artist does. His pictures is so shitty. I think that's probably kind of what made it endearing, or what a lot of people liked, because I mean it was really bad, and a lot of times you couldn't figure out what was going on. But it kind of like made the manga that much more hilarious and that much more interesting. So. Yeah,
I never did read the webcomic, but I've heard about the horrible drawings.
Yeah, I've read it, and I'm at that place where I'm not sure if I'm right on the balance where I kind of want to continue and I want to know what happens next. Yeah. But at the same time, it's really hard to read. It's really hard to figure out like what's happening. Yeah. So. Yeah. And the manga artist who is doing it for this manga, he is a really famous one. He's doing a really good job. Like those manga pictures are pretty hecking awesome. So, Benjamin, you want to stick your tongue out at everyone?
Yes. This is not going to be edited out, by the way. People enjoy this free, unedited moment.
Well, awesome. Why don't we wrap up this podcast for One Punch Man, and I'll probably actually include all our conversation like after the main podcast. Like if people want to listen to what we've been talking about, they can listen to it. And Benjamin, don't worry, I'll include your deleted scenes too, where we all fucked up all the different times. So at the end of the podcast, if you want to listen to that, you can listen to that too.
Oh hell yeah, man.
Okay, so guys, One Punch Man, would this be in your top 5 manga or anime of all time?
Oh yes.
Yes, by far, sure.
Okay, so we would definitely recommend this manga and this anime. It's really, really awesome. We hope you guys check it out. Season 2 of the anime is actually coming out in April of next year. So if you guys have not seen season 1, you've got time. You can watch it. And for those who are more interested in seeing what the original is like, you should definitely go check out the manga. It's one of the best mangas and animes out there, which is really rare to be able to say. A lot of times the manga is better or the anime is better. But this is one of those rare, not just a masterpiece, it's just really, really good. Both versions have done an excellent for anime and the manga. So we definitely hope you guys go check that out. If you like this episode, please subscribe, comment, review, share with your friends, do all of that jazz. If you're interested in coming on the podcast, contact us. We might include you as a guest. Okay, so that will be it for today's episode. Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you, Domo.
Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you for allowing me to be on the podcast. It's fun.
Awesome. Okay, that will be it. では、またね。じゃあね。 So next week we'll do the second half of One Punch Man, and then after that we'll get to Ajin. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah.
I've actually never watched Ajin. Like I've seen it. It's been on my list forever to watch, but I've never like gotten around to it. What is it about?
It's super badass.
The villain is very badass. The villain is better than the main character, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't
The
even
villain's by far the best part.
I don't remember anything about the main character honestly as much as the bad guy. Like the villain, he was like so.
Yeah. He I think he was the mangaka. I think it's a he designed the bad guy after the Joker. So he doesn't have the Joker's craziness, but he's kind of like Joker's. He's as badass as the Joker, and he's as unpredictable too. Yeah, and he's one of those villains that just nobody can stop, even the main character can. So like the whole season, you're just wondering like, how in the world are they ever gonna defeat this villain? So,
you know what?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have ever read or seen Go to Go 13.
Yeah.
Go to Go 13 is that for me. Like I don't know.
Yeah, Go to Go 13 is really
like,
awesome. Have you seen Joseph?
It's really the opposite.
I've seen some of it. I haven't read through the whole thing because there's so many. But
Yeah.
I've read a lot. I haven't read through all of it, but it's like
I bought the manga when I was in Japan, and I'm still like, that was like 4 months ago, and I'm still on the first volume. That shit's thick.
I
So
know.
many words. Oh my goodness. But
Doesn't pull its
you know,
punches, man.
but like it was literally the opposite. You say for Ajin, it was like there's this this awesome ass villain. How they gonna beat this guy? And in Go to Go 13, it's this pro no naka no pro.
yeah. Go to Go is so cool.
You
He's
know,
like
he's
Don't
so
stand
good.
behind
And
me.
and he's never lost.
yeah.
So you wonder like, okay, we know he's never gonna lose. How is he gonna win? That's what I want to know. Because he does some awesome shit. Like I remember the first episode, he like shoots through a building.
Yeah.
And then it goes through the cockpit of the plane. I was like, oh my god. I didn't even think it was possible. I didn't even think it was possible.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like that type of thing, because there's no character development, and I'm like,
I think it's really good. I think it's really cool.
But I love it. Yeah, I was like, I love it. Like, it's like one of those things like Dragon Ball and Go to Go 13. I like the two animes that I watch that I really don't care, about not really plot or anything, like the character development.
Yeah.
It's just badass and fun to watch. I just love it.
Yeah. The cool thing about Ajin is the story is about like a guy. Basically, there's these people who don't die. They get run over, or they die from sickness, or they get killed or something, and then they find out that they come back to life. So these are people who thought they believed their whole lives they're human, but for some reason, which the manga hasn't explained yet, some of these people, they come back to life and they can't die. So what happens is the governments all find out about this and they start, doing human experimentation, and they do all their evil government stuff. Yeah. And the Ajins, so these Ajins basically, it means not human is basically what the word means, but so the fight scenes are really interesting. You would wonder how they would make it so good if both people can't die. Then what's the stakes of the fight scenes?
Yeah.
But the mangaka gets really creative in the way the strategies that evolve around trying to take or defeat someone who can't die, or how if two people like that met, how would they fight against each other? It's really really interesting. So it has really good action scenes, but it's also got that cerebral side of almost not as much as Death Note, but pretty close to that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me actually on a much, I guess, not on the more smaller scale. What's the name of it? It's called Immortal Blade.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a movie. I think there's an anime based on it or something, but I think it started off as an animated movie. They made a live action of it recently, I think. And it's about, this guy who he was a really famous, I guess, samurai, and at some point he got into this large ass battle, and defeated everyone, and got to the end, he had his bruised up, had some swords stuck in him, and he's laying on the ground. He's okay, I've done everything I can, I'm gonna die. But then this old woman comes up and she's like, "Nope, you're not gonna die today." And she puts like these worms in his cuts, and she puts the worms in there. And what they do is they live in his blood. And whenever he gets injured, they like.
Oh yes, I remember now. I've seen this. Yeah.
Heal him, so he physically he can't die. He's become immortal at that point, and he lives. I think there's like a time skip in the movie where it's like 200 years have passed or something like that. And he's still just living. His sisters died. He's all alone, and then he meets this one girl who looks like his sister. He tries to protect her. And then he comes across another guy who I think 500 years before that had also met the same old lady and became immortal. He's like, you have the same smell as me. We're gonna fight. And they fight, and it took. I can't remember exactly how he did it, but it took everything. The strategy it took for him to try to defeat someone who's just like him, who's immortal. Like, how do I kill me? Type thing.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was an interesting little bit in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
What's going on?
Slow motion, man.
What are you doing on this side?
I'm doing a podcast right now.
Oh, really?
Tell him he made it in the podcast.
You say you've made it in the podcast. We're gonna keep your voice.
Sure.
What are you doing, man?
I was doing that the whole time, and you finally noticed. So.
Oh, I have my notes on this screen over here. So. Yeah.
Oh, people are so noisy here. It's like.
I know. I was for the next podcast, Benjamin. You are going to do it in a room that no people are going to be walking through. Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to take me hours to edit through this. Hey, I'm sorry.
I was at Blue Ridge, okay, and then you're like, you should go to catering. So.
I wasn't being serious. Okay. My bad. It was my bad for not preparing for that. Okay.
Well, we were prepared. We're still trying. Okay. So it's none of us are bad. We're still. It's like it's no one's fault.
No, we can. Yeah, I'll try
could
my
improve.
editing magic.
Failing means it's first attempt to learning, so we could still do better.
We should just leave this all in the podcast, Benjamin. It's such a motivating speech.
Yeah, you can
after
do it.
they've listened to 3 minutes of silence,
Joseph,
and they're like, "Why is the podcast still not going?"
Joseph, we should do it for the end scenes. Like the what do you call that stuff where you don't show it?
Deleted scenes, kind of.
The deleted scenes.
Yeah.